Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be talking about when that upcoming warm-up could occur, when we can finally see this pattern flip. Now, before I get started with this video, though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. And I'd also highly recommend that you check out our very exciting Patreon page in the description and in the pinned comments down below, and then also our very awesome channel membership that is next to that subscribe button. Anyway, for today's comment of the day, I want to know, how do you want the rest of this colder time of year to go, like March, April timeframe? Would you rather it just get hot right away, or would you rather it be kind of a slow transition? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Now, you probably saw yesterday's video, you probably saw yesterday's thumbnail, and you're thinking, why in the world did you post that yesterday? And now, as we switch the frame to today's thumbnail, now to this. Why is it flipped so much? Well, yesterday's video, we talked about kind of the next 5 days from now, so kind of the shorter range pattern. In this video, we're going to be talking about afterwards, so after that big cool down and that pattern is done with, when will we transition back to a warmer pattern? So this is all taking place, it all is going to flow naturally. This isn't contradicting yesterday's video, even though some people are probably going to see the thumbnail and think that right off the gate. So I knew I needed to make that little bit of a disclaimer. If anybody comments anything like that, just go ahead and let them know, because they probably just didn't watch the video at all. Here we are taking a look at our European model at today, and as you can see, we have warm for the north, central, and the west, basically, and then cold for the Gulf states and then the east coast at this point outside of Florida, where it is always nice, it seems like. What we're going to do in a minute is take a look at those teleconnections, talk about why we're going to see this pattern flip, and then we're just going to progress through everything. So for one thing, we're going to see this Arctic oscillation flip from kind of a negative up to a positive. In a negative phase, that usually encourages more cold air entering into the United States, and a positive encourages less of that going on. So first off, around the 6th, we're going to flip into a positive phase. You usually want to give it 2 or 3 days of a lag for those effects to be felt. So by the time we're reaching the 8th or 9th, we should be feeling kind of some warmer patterns for mostly the entire United States. And as we switch to our PNA here, this one in a negative phase would mean colder temperatures out west, and in a positive phase, it would mean warmer temperatures out west, and therefore usually the opposite for the East Coast. So in a positive phase, we see cold in the east. In a negative phase, warm in the east. All right, we're in a negative. We're going to cross over into a positive, but we're going to cross back into a strongly negative PNA that is going to take over the pattern for the good portion of the first half of March, it appears. So we're just going to watch for that closely, but everything should be flipping around the 8th or 9th. So we'll be looking for that as we take a look back at our European model. So here we are taking a look at about 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, Thursday, March 4th. I can't believe we're already just well into March. It's crazy how fast this is going. And we see some of that warm temperature still out west and still some of the cold out east, but this looks like a very sloppy pattern. Nothing is really set in stone. What we're going to do is we're going to move on towards where that cool down really will take hold of the eastern United States, the one we talked about yesterday, around the 5th of March. So here we are at the 5th of March, and that's about 6 a.m. on Friday. And as you can see, there's greens and the more purplish blues. Somebody said in the comments down below, are you colorblind? Because that's not purple. It's just more purple to me than the other blues, the lighter blues that you can see kind of on the outside of the green. So I'm trying to differentiate it a little bit. But up there for New England and upstate New York, we have kind of more of a purplish blue, if you will, indicating very far below normal temperatures up there. So we're going to have a very decent cool down. And by the time we're reaching 6 a.m. on Saturday, you can see it is still around, very potent. So the weekend especially appears like it's going to be very, very frigid for the eastern United States, kind of as we were alluding to yesterday. But you can see the upper Midwest is actually warmed up by this point. And now the West Coast, they were kind of warm, but you see some colder temperatures making their way onto the West Coast. We're going to see if that progresses. That is the sign of kind of a negative PNA, so we'll be watching for that. And by the time we reach about 6 a.m. on Sunday, you can see that that negative PNA is looking even more evident, with the entire state of Oregon looking like below normal temperatures, California and Nevada kind of getting taken over with those as well. So that's a very strong signal of a negative PNA, which should encourage warmer than normal conditions for the eastern United States a few days from this point. But we do see at this point there's very cold temperatures still in the east, so the entire weekend looks to be pretty cold. And here we are by 6 a.m. on Monday, and as you can see, the warmer temperatures are more centered over the central United States. Still have those very cold temperatures for the east and now the west as well with that negative PNA, but the warmer temperatures are crossing closer and closer to the east coast as we're just taking a look further and further into the European model run here. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on towards Tuesday, where that warmer is going to get even closer to the East Coast, and eventually in a few days, it should reach the East Coast. Now, this is about 1 a.m. on Tuesday, so we haven't even crossed too far into this. And we're seeing the immediate East Coast is really where that cold is centered, but the Ohio Valley, the interior Northeast by this point, has all seen pretty much a flip to the warmer temperatures. The West Coast still with the colder than normal conditions, again, encouraging that warmer air to move further and further east. The cold and the warm don't like being too close together. They usually push each other around, and that's what we're seeing here. And then by the time we're reaching about 1 p.m. on the same day, Tuesday, March 9th, you can see that that warm air has finally made its way to where it is reaching the East Coast, especially up there in the Northeast, where we do see some of those darker oranges indicating 10 to 16 degrees above average Fahrenheit. So it could be a very warm day to start out the very early portion of next week. So we're going to see this huge flip from the weekend towards early next week. It's going to go from very far below normal temperatures to very far above normal temperatures in a hurry. The upper Midwest and the Ohio Valley, as well as the Great Lakes here by this point, is taking a look at kind of those gray or brownish shades, and those are 16 to 30 degrees above normal. So this is going to be a significant warm up to say the least. The West is just getting even more and more cold by this point, so that's going to indicate even warmer temperatures heading out east. So by time we're reaching Wednesday at about 1 p.m., you can see those warmer temperatures have pushed even further east by this point. Now the Northeast and surrounding regions are seeing those kind of grayish, brownish shades showing up. So this is looking like a significant warm up for the East and a significant cool down for the West. A huge just flip over the course of 5 days, and that is mostly or almost completely due to that negative AO crossing towards a positive and that PNA going from positive neutral to mostly negative. So this is a purely negative PNA pattern here. Very classic setup with the very cold temperatures out west and the very warm temperatures in the east by March 10th. So we're about 7 days away. So in about a week, it should have fully switched to this warmer pattern. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on and we're going to take a look at a few more dates. We're going to take a look at it in 5-day increments on our European ensemble model just to make sure we have ensemble support. And then we're going to go ahead and close out the video. Now, by the time we're reaching Tuesday, March 11th at about 1 p.m., you can see we're taking a look at a lot of the same. Those very far below normal temperatures out west, the very far above normal temperatures out east for the Ohio Valley, the south central United States, the Great Lakes in the Northeast, as well as the Mid-Atlantic and New England. Especially the Southeast is the least above normal. They're slightly above normal at about 2 to 6, maybe even 8 degrees above normal. But the areas further north are even further above normal. Other than that, with some areas as far as 15 to 30 degrees or even 30 degrees or more above your average temperature, which is very significant. We're also taking a look at those colder temperatures out west where we're seeing temperatures that are 15 to 30 degrees below normal. So there's just two extremes going on as we speak right now. And then by the time we're reaching Friday of next week as well on the 12th, you can see it's a lot of the same. There's very warm temperatures for the Northeast, the Ohio Valley, and the Mid-Atlantic. And then again, just still cold for the North Central and then the Western United States. So this looks like a pattern that could lock in for quite a while. And it would be a very significant warm-up if it was to play out this way. But it is important to remind you guys that this is only one model, only one run, and things could change. But I'm more confident in that cooldown before because it's obviously closer from the time we're making this video. But I am pretty confident that we're going to flip into a warmer pattern as well because of those teleconnections kind of driving this whole pattern. So let's take a look at those 5-day increments on our European ensemble model real quick. From the 3rd to the 8th of March, this is what the pattern will mostly look like. The North Central especially above normal, but also most of the Western United States as well. And then the Eastern United States and the Gulf states are in that below normal temperature. By the time we take a look at the 8th through the 13th, so the very next 5-day increment, you can see it is completely flipped. It's a lot of what we were just taking a look at. Above normal temperatures for the eastern 2/3 of the United States, pretty much. And then that western third is in that below normal temperature region. So a huge flip into the colder direction. And then as you can see, by the time we're taking a look at the 13th through the 18th here, take this with a grain of salt. It is the longer range. It's a lot of the same. Warm in the east, cold in the west. Models do have a tendency to kind of just show a lot more of what they were showing for the prior period in that later portion of the model run. So that could be what's going on here. but I wouldn't be surprised if we see this pattern stick around quite a while, to say the least. Anyway, for my confidence tab, I'm at about a 5 out of 6. Again, a little bit less confident than that cooldown because I was at a 6 out of 6. But still, the teleconnections are driving this. There's a strong probability that this will likely take place. It might not be as extreme as I've shown here, but regardless, I do expect a big pattern flip. Anyway, for today's comment of the day, I asked you guys yesterday, how do you rank this winner? And Jonathan Ruffing said this winner was quite beastly, and I think a lot of people agree because we got 10 likes on that one. It was a very good winner compared to a lot of the previous winners we've seen, and I'm very satisfied with how it went. I think most people feel that way. Anyway, for today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons: Sebastian Tao, John Benbenick, James Wade, Dovi Nagel, Alan Belemo, Adam S., Larry LePan, Donna Carnes, Cameron Marshall, and Aidan Mattis, alongside our diamond patrons: Bill Roberts, Alan Sherry, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harley, Michael Codalessa, Michael Buell, Catbite, Charles Stinnett, Kellen Manor, It's Jay, Cindy Klein, Mark J., Luke Falago, Gary's, and John Quilisi. If you would like to be a part of this Patreon end screen of the day, you can do so by joining our very exciting Patreon page in the description and in the pinned comments down below. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends, family, and social media. I'll see you guys in the next video.